Welcome to Cuss-Ish, Real Talk Sports, where we strip away the fluff and get straight to the heart of the game. From the hottest plays on the court to the controversies off of it, we're breaking it all down with unfiltered takes and raw honesty. No sugarcoating, no holding back, just real talk for real fans. Let's get into it. I am your host, Keisha, and I have my daughter here off camera so we can discuss these Angel Reese and Charleston White comments. When I first initially heard the comments, it was all over Twitter, about Charleston White being on Club 520's podcast with Jeff Teague. And my first initial reaction to the comments were, I would have to say I was disgusted, because to tell a woman who is a professional athlete, a businesswoman, that you're just being reduced to selling pee, or you're reduced to dunking in panties, which was one of the comments, I just felt like there was a lot of sexism going on, because nobody would ever ask a man to dunk in panties. What I was really initially very upset about was that he was saying these comments on an athlete-led podcast. At the essence of your podcast was sports. So to me, Jeff Teague put down his own acumen of being an athlete, because he knows exactly how much hard work it takes to get to the professional level of sports. For him to let another person come on his podcast and demean another person who went through the same trials and tribulations he did to make it was very disturbing to me. However, there are a lot of double standards in this world. I need to understand why one athlete doesn't view another athlete the same way, even if they are a man or a woman. The first thing I want to tackle is sexism, which we've been in a male-dominated society for as long as we can remember. Men still choose to go out of their way to degrade and hurt women when they're supposed to be the protectors of our society. You want to be a protector, but who protects us from you? My first question is this men feeling threatened by a confident businesswoman? Or is this feeling threatened as an athlete? This athlete is getting more attention than you, and you feel like, how dare this woman get more attention than you? What do you think, Zaria?
I feel like it may be more of the first one. I feel like at the end of the day, the root cause is like society often equates a woman's confidence, self-expression, and boldness with her being too much or being provocative. For Angel Reese, I feel like she really gives off the energy of being really unapologetic and having that type of attitude. And traditionally, the traditional views, right, about women, especially female athletes, is that they should behave.
Mm-hmm. And also be grateful that they've even gotten a platform.
Pretty much.
That's why I get confused with the whole thing, because I'm pretty sure she's grateful.
Right.
Because who wouldn't be grateful to have a platform to speak to people and all that stuff? I'm just not understanding what way wouldn't be, I guess, triggering to men to where I'm suddenly doing too much. If I'm getting all these brand deals, I'm trying to set up my family to have generational wealth. I'm capitalizing on my success and my fame. I went to school, I graduated, I got drafted. What am I doing so wrong that I'm coming off as threatening to them instead of something they should protect?
I feel like it all comes back to they want women to stay in a woman's place. That's what it is. They have this view on what it means to be humble, right? But when you really think of like the greatest people that ever done it, I call them a lot of things. I'm not sure if I call them humble.
Right.
You know? So is it like okay for them and not okay for some others? And I do think it has a lot to do with her being a woman, a Black woman at that.
Mm-hmm. I would say, do you think, because you've competed all your life and went to college and competed, does the art of competition bring out a different personality in say that maybe people are just not used to women having that sense of in your face, brash, I'm gonna tell you how I think, tell you how I feel type. Does it give you confidence because you compete at a high level?
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think it should be that way for all of them. I think even obviously NIL deals are still relatively new, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's giving more attention to these college athletes that wouldn't have gotten it otherwise.
Right.
Especially so for women, because I'll be honest, like, even though obviously NIL deals are new for both men and women, in my opinion, men often did get the brunt of scholarships, stuff like that. Women's sports isn't like, I went to a Christian school, and I can't tell you how many of the male basketball players, were there on a full ride, and it wasn't the same. Now, there were other things going on as to why they got that, but
right.
There was disparity there.
Yeah. So I'm guessing this new NIL era is ushered in, whereas when women's sports was kind of like an afterthought, it was being funded by the male sports, and so women's sports was always like a little sister to them. You didn't really get in the way. We funded you. You do your thing, and you don't really have a voice. Now we got into these NIL deals. Women have a voice because their NIL deals is giving them stardom, getting them followers, getting them views, getting them clicks. And now, is it a little bit of, are you trying to overshadow us? Because we have been financially supporting your sports for years.
I mean, yeah, because let's be honest, like, what are we talking about right now? We're talking about someone making comments, making very, I don't even know what the word I would
disparaging.
Use. But yeah,
comments.
Those type of comments, and yet talking about a woman being provocative.
Mm-hmm.
But you're being quite provocative in what you're saying, right?
Right.
Which is interesting. But then you come to think of, they're in this sport, in basketball, if you weren't a woman, they wouldn't be talking about this stuff. Men can't, in this space, it's almost like men can't be provocative.
Gotcha.
So you can't talk about how she plays, right? Because she plays good. Because if you had something to say, you would say it.
Right.
So the next best thing is, oh, she's a hoe, or whatever you want to come up with. She's a whore, whatever you want to say. Because what else can you talk about?
And that goes back to that double standard. Men, college athletes, professional athletes, they date many people throughout the course of their career. Mm-hmm. And I feel like people might talk about how they dress or make a comment of like, oh, Lord, what does he have on? But it's never to the point of you're out here trying to sell D. You're trying to sell P. I just want to know how we leap from this girl being an athlete. How do you leap from this girl who's been working for something her whole life to, I don't think she wants to play basketball at all. I think she wants to have an OnlyFans and sell P. How do we leap from a girl who was number 2 in the nation at her sport to these disparaging comments? How do we get from here to there?
Because at the end of the day, we come from a country that likes to police women's bodies in any way that they can. Mm-hmm. So women, especially women in public spaces like sports, they face constant scrutiny about their appearance. Mm. Whether it be, oh, is she, I mean, I'm going to be real with you, like, she could be gay, and they will be talking about, oh, she dresses like a boy, she wants to be a boy, now she's dressing too provocative, oh, she must be a hoe, she's trying to sell P or whatever. Why can't she just be an athlete? Why can't we separate the two?
I don't know.
She's what? She's 22 years old? Mm-hmm. Like, what were y'all doing at 22? I would love to know.
I probably was wearing some of the stuff Angel Reese was wearing.
Well,
you're my daughter, and I'm just telling you the truth.
And she has marketed herself as an athlete, but also a woman.
Mm-hmm. And she's also marketed herself as doing, like, stuff that models do. You know, like, Victoria's Secret models walk around in panties because that's what they do. They're marketing the brand that pays them. You can't sell that without selling the ambiance of being beautiful, of being sexy, of having sex appeal. The funny thing about this is men have always said one of the reasons that they didn't watch the WNBA is because they thought it was too manly. Now you have women like Angel Reese and Cameron Brink and Rakia and all these girls are coming to their games dressed up like women, and you're still complaining. I'm almost to the point of you're not gonna like anything.
Well, like I said, women's bodies are being policed. It's good when you like it. When she gets too confident or too bold, or you like to call her arrogant as opposed to confident.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about, like, for example, right? Did you know that, like, women volleyball players, they literally have to wear bikinis, but men volleyball players can wear shorts? And what do you think that's for?
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But had someone maybe taken Angel Reese's approach and maybe be, I don't know, getting her own swimsuit line or doing all this and that, they probably wouldn't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she did a spread for Sports Illustrated, and people are bringing up those pictures of her in a bikini, but it was for Sports Illustrated, and Sports Illustrated has done that spread for a lot of women athletes over time since they've been in existence. So
at the end of the day, they make it pretty obvious that women can't do what men can do. And that's what it all comes down to. And it doesn't matter how great you are, which is so unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, what is her name? Serena Williams, right? I think she had gotten, I don't know, some kind of in trouble for wearing some type of outfit. I can't remember exactly what it was about. Meanwhile, men tennis players can literally play with their shirts off and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's just like...
Yeah. And nobody bats an eye.
Not at all. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we're talking about. We're not talking about sports. That's all I do know.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, can she play basketball?
Yes.
Okay. So what are we talking about? Why are you going on a sports podcast talking about OnlyFans?
Right.
I don't understand.
I was confused. That's why I asked you the question: how we leap from one thing to all the way over here.
Because your mind is on that.
Gotcha.
Just say that you want her. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But don't pretend to know what she does behind closed doors.
I'm pretty sure Angel Reese, she's received horrible comments from a lot of different people. Mm-hmm. And, but one of them have been Black men. Okay. People that are supposed to have our backs in this, because a lot of athletes are Black men.
Right.
And I will first start off my comments with saying there are a lot of podcasters out here that have Angel Reese's back. They back up Black women. They call out these crazy comments and they try to check these people that say these things about women. Unfortunately, it always seems like the sexist comments are louder than the protective ones. Even though my Black brothers are out here saying that this is disgusting, I just don't understand why we keep getting here and why we keep getting here with Black men. Is it something different when a Black woman is confident in herself to a Black man? Or does it come to a deep thing within our community that we have to attack our own?
I would say policing Black women's behavior has been a thing for a while, way before all of this. You know, Black women are often judged very harshly within their own communities, for stepping outside of their traditional norms of what it means to be respectable, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be honest, like you said, it's really a no-win situation sometimes. It's like, if we're too humble, we don't know what we're doing. We lack confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're overconfident and we know what we're doing, we're arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
We really can't win. And it's very unfortunate, but that's the world that we live in. And even when we struggle and we're open and honest about our struggles, we are still scrutinized. And what comes to mind is Simone Biles, right? When she pulled out of the Olympics, because she had something that was like, she could have really hurt herself had she continued.
Mm-hmm.
But people were...
And she was open and honest.
Yeah, and people were calling her weak and saying she what's it called? She like gave up on our country and all this.
Right.
Meanwhile, there are other athletes that have, withdrawn from things. Like even Michael Phelps has done that before, right?
Right.
And love Michael Phelps, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But
I love him.
Would they ever really step to Michael Phelps like that? No.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to. And it's 100% about, it has nothing to do with him, right? Everything to do with how they feel about Black women and how they feel about women in general. That women should know their place. They are so happy to cheer on for you when you are doing something for them. And as soon as you do something for yourself, you are a monster.
So almost like that grateful thing. Black women should just be grateful. And if we're not giving something to them, entertaining them or something like that, we're good. But if we say we want something for ourselves, then we're being selfish and we're all kind of horrible people.
100%. Because going back to Angel Reese, right? At some point, just like any athlete, her career is going to end, right?
Right.
So she is thinking about the future. Good for her, because guess what? This economy sucks. Okay.
Yes.
If there were NIL deals when I was back in college, you better believe I would. Yeah, I'm gonna post for Fenty. Yeah. Why would I say no?
Right.
Because y'all are gonna say stuff.
Your mother would have supported you wholeheartedly.
Because y'all are gonna say what exactly? Y'all are gonna say anything. Y'all are gonna say it anyways. So I might as well get the money and block you. Like, what do you mean? Like it's like, and even when people ask, like, why, hasn't she, like, directly talked about this? Why would she?
No, she does. She needs to stay in her little condo, chill, and let us do the talking for her. I did like her tweet when she said that just to protect women in sports, that's all she needs to say. Because at the end of the day, whether she says a whole bunch or a little, somebody's going to complain. She just needs to do whatever needs to be done to protect her mental. And that goes back to Simone Biles. At the end of the day, you have to have yourself straight before you can give to the world. You have to give to yourself. So I think I applaud Simone Biles because she knew she was going to come home to let's just say a hailstorm of criticisms. That's why I wanted to create this podcast, because athletes in general need some type of support system, because sometimes the negative voices seem to outweigh the positive ones in our society, because that's what we want to hear. We're so conditioned to hear negativity. Diving deep into real stuff is what I'm trying to do here on this podcast.
I am glad that you're starting this, because I know this has been something that you've been wanting to get off the ground. So I'm happy that you can do this. I know it took a lot for you to get behind the camera.
It did.
But I did want to ask you, as a mom, as a Black mom at that, what advice would you give athletes like Angel Reese and Simone Biles?
I would say to her and to a lot of athletes, keep a support system. Keep your mom close. Keep people close that pour positivity into you, whether it be family, business partners, friends, and the negativity. No matter who it is, cut it out.
Cut the ish.
Cut the ish. Thank you for being. This is my first podcast, so I'm excited. Thank you to my daughter for being here and giving me her take. And that's going to be the end of our podcast today. See you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.